The galaxy imprisoned the last human, then the prison started obeying him. 10,000 years after Earth vanished from every known star chart, the name human had become little more than a forbidden myth whispered among scholars and smugglers. The Galactic Dominion had spent millennia hunting every trace of humanity, convinced that the species had once nearly overthrown the oldest empires before disappearing into extinction. Their greatest prison, the Obsidian Vault, orbited a black hole beyond mapped space, built to contain gods, cosmic horrors, and civilizations too dangerous to exist. No prisoner had ever escaped. The prison itself was alive, an ancient machine older than the galaxy's current races, forged by forgotten architects who programmed it to recognize only one authority: its original creators. When Dominion scouts discovered a lone survivor drifting in a shattered escape pod near the edge of dark space, they believed they had captured the last human alive. His name was Commander Elias Ward, a battle-worn soldier carrying nothing but a cracked flight helmet, an obsolete plasma sidearm with one remaining charge, and a calm expression that unsettled everyone who looked at him. The Dominion celebrated their victory across thousands of worlds, broadcasting the imprisonment of humanity's final survivor as proof that no legend could outlive the Empire. Elias never argued, never begged, and never denied their accusations. He simply asked one question as the prison gates sealed behind him: "Who gave you permission to activate this facility?" The alien wardens laughed, assuming it was the desperate rambling of a defeated prisoner. Then every light inside the Obsidian Vault flickered. Ancient symbols hidden beneath the walls awakened for the first time in millions of years. Massive security drones that had obeyed only the prison's central intelligence suddenly turned toward Elias, lowered their weapons, and knelt. Across thousands of kilometers of living metal, a voice that had remained silent since before recorded history echoed through every corridor. Primary Command Authority confirmed. "Welcome back, human administrator." Panic spread through the prison. Cell doors opened and closed on their own. Gravity shifted without warning. Defense cannons rotated away from the human and locked onto the Dominion fleet outside. The warden's command codes were instantly revoked, while Elias's biometric signature overrode every security protocol in existence. No one understood how an ordinary human soldier possessed authority over the oldest machine in the galaxy. But the truth was far more terrifying than anyone imagined. Humanity had never been prisoners of the stars. They had once been their guardians. Long before the current empires rose from primitive worlds, humans had helped build the Obsidian Vault as the final prison for entities capable of consuming galaxies. When humanity mysteriously vanished, the prison entered dormant mode, waiting endlessly for one of its creators to return. Now that a human had finally walked its halls again, every ancient protocol reactivated. Deep beneath the prison's lowest level, colossal containment chambers that had remained sealed for epochs began to unlock one by one. Not because they were failing, but because the prison had determined that its rightful commander had returned and awaited new orders. The Dominion realized too late that they had not locked the last human inside the galaxy's most secure prison. They had delivered its true master back to his throne, and every chain, every weapon, every wall, and every terrifying secret hidden within the Obsidian Vault now answered to him alone. The Dominion High Council watched in horror as every command they issued returned with the same cold response. Access denied. Primary authority. Human administrator. Across the Obsidian Vault, armored wardens who had ruled the prison for centuries suddenly found themselves stripped of every privilege. Blast doors refused to open for them. Security drones blocked their paths, and surveillance systems ignored their orders completely. Meanwhile, wherever Commander Elias Ward walked, the corridors illuminated before his footsteps. Ancient holographic maps unfolded in the air, and forgotten symbols glowed with a brilliant blue light that no living species had ever seen. Alien prisoners, once feared as monsters capable of destroying entire star systems, fell silent as they recognized those symbols from legends older than their civilizations. Some knelt without hesitation. Others trembled in absolute fear. One colossal creature imprisoned for 20 million years whispered a single sentence that echoed through every cell block. "The wardens have returned." That one statement shattered everything the galaxy believed about humanity. They had never been a young species that accidentally rose to power. They had once been the civilization responsible for keeping the universe safe from horrors beyond imagination. The Dominion had spent 10,000 years celebrating humanity's disappearance, never realizing that their absence had been the only reason the ancient prison remained dormant. Elias finally reached the prison's central command chamber, a cathedral-sized hall surrounding an enormous crystalline core suspended in midair. As he placed his hand upon its surface, memories that did not belong to him flooded his mind. Visions of ancient human fleets stretching across galaxies, engineers forging living machines inside stars, and commanders sealing cosmic predators into the vault before humanity voluntarily vanished to prevent an even greater catastrophe. A calm artificial voice filled the chamber. Administrator Elias Ward, genetic verification complete. You are the final living descendant of the first command line. All emergency protocols are now transferred to your authority. Containment status unstable. External threat assessment critical. Elias frowned. Explain. The AI projected thousands of star systems turning black one after another. Entire civilizations had disappeared without broadcasting distress calls. Ancient seals located beneath the prison were weakening, not because of age but because something outside the galaxy had begun pulling against them. The Obsidian Vault had never been built merely to imprison dangerous species. Hidden beneath its lowest level was a dimensional gate containing entities so powerful that even the original human empire had chosen imprisonment over extermination. If those beings escaped, every empire in the Milky Way would vanish within months. At that exact moment, alarms unlike anything heard before echoed through the prison. Containment Chamber 0. Integrity 91%, 89%, 87%. The entire structure shook violently. Dominion battleships orbiting outside suddenly opened fire, believing they could destroy the prison before Elias gained complete control. Their plasma bombardment struck the vault's surface and vanished. Ancient defense arrays awakened automatically for the first time in millions of years. Thousands of colossal cannons emerged from beneath the prison's armor, each larger than a capital ship. Without Elias issuing a single command, the AI announced, "Unauthorized attack detected. Defensive protocol Omega initiated." In less than 3 seconds, beams of white energy crossed the void. The Dominion fleet, the greatest military force in the known galaxy, ceased to exist. Hundreds of warships disappeared without explosions, without debris, erased so completely that even their gravitational signatures vanished from existence. Silence consumed space. Every empire monitoring the battle realized they had just witnessed a weapon beyond anything modern science could explain. Yet Elias showed no satisfaction. He stared only at the containment display as the numbers continued falling. 83%, 81, 79. The prison had obeyed him, but something infinitely more dangerous was awakening beneath his feet. For the first time since entering the Obsidian Vault, the last human whispered words that chilled even the ancient AI. We're already too late. Deep below the prison, in a chamber that no species had entered since before recorded history, billions of black chains stretched across an endless abyss. One of them had just snapped. From the darkness beyond reality itself, a single enormous eye slowly opened and smiled. Far beneath the Obsidian Vault, where even light seemed afraid to exist, the broken chain drifted silently into an endless abyss, before dissolving into particles of impossible darkness. The colossal eye remained open, its gaze piercing dimensions as though the prison walls did not exist. Every sensor in the vault failed simultaneously. Time itself stuttered for a fraction of a second. Throughout the galaxy, stars flickered out and reignited. Navigational beacons malfunctioned, and millions of sentient beings experienced the same terrifying nightmare. A giant shadow reaching across the universe while a single human stood in its path. Inside the command chamber, the ancient AI's voice lost its calm precision for the first time in millions of years. Threat designation updated. The first devourer has become self-aware. Estimated probability of universal extinction if containment fails, 99.97%. Elias closed his eyes as fragments of inherited memories continued flooding his mind. He now understood why humanity had disappeared from history. They had not been destroyed. They had sacrificed everything. Long ago, when the first devourers invaded from beyond known reality, the human civilization had discovered that no conventional weapon could kill them. Instead, humanity had transformed itself into living command keys, scattering their bloodlines across space and erasing almost every record of their existence. As long as even one descendant survived, the prison's authority could never fall into the wrong hands. Elias was the final descendant. The last key, the last warden. Every human who had ever lived had unknowingly protected this secret with their lives. Suddenly, a hidden chamber opened beneath the crystalline core, revealing a suit of armor unlike anything in the modern galaxy. Forged from white alloy that shimmered like liquid starlight, it bore the ancient emblem of Earth, a blue planet encircled by silver wings. The AI spoke softly. Warden Armor Mark 0, last activated 10,482 years ago. Synchronization available. As Elias stepped toward it, the armor assembled around him piece by piece, responding not to machinery but to his heartbeat. Streams of blue energy flowed across its surface, and a long-forgotten weapon materialized in his hand. A spear of condensed stellar plasma capable of cutting through dimensional barriers. Throughout the prison, imprisoned warlords, ancient dragons of dark matter, living nebulae, and beings once worshipped as gods, all sensed the same impossible event. The human warden had returned. One after another, they knelt inside their cells, not out of fear, but out of respect for the species that had defeated them fairly and imprisoned them without cruelty. Even the oldest prisoner, a cosmic entity older than the Milky Way itself, smiled and whispered, "Perhaps the universe still has hope." But hope would be tested immediately. The abyss beneath Chamber 0 erupted with a deafening roar, as thousands of black tendrils burst through fractured dimensional seals, tearing through armored walls that had survived for millions of years. Entire containment sectors vanished into darkness. Security drones were ripped apart before firing a single shot. Gravity collapsed. Space folded in impossible angles. Standing alone before the breach, Elias planted the spear into the floor. Every system in the vault redirected its power toward him. The ancient defense network, the prison's artificial sun, and the energy of countless reactors converged into the armor until it shone brighter than a newborn star. Across every inhabited world, telescopes captured the impossible sight of the Obsidian Vault glowing like a second sun beside the black hole it orbited. The entire galaxy watched in silence as one lone human stepped toward the advancing darkness, while billions prayed to gods who had never answered before. Then Elias spoke the same words that the first human wardens had spoken 10,000 years earlier. "As long as one human stands, the darkness does not pass." The prison answered with a thunderous pulse that shook the stars themselves, and for the first time in 10 millennia, humanity declared war not for conquest, not for revenge, but for the survival of every living soul in the galaxy.